StockTip. Best stock setups.
Welcome, I'm Marcel Todia and this is StockTip's daily update. Today we have the 11th of January 2022. This was an interesting day yesterday. We may have finally got a bounce in the market. It remains to be seen if this is just a technical bounce or if this is the start of a new rally. Be it as it is, I was happy with the events of yesterday. I've managed to lock in some good moves. I will be happy to share them with you, but to begin with, let's talk about the market. So we will be beginning with the S&P 500. The S&P 500. This is also the pre-market. So the S&P 500 logged a big hammer yesterday. You see this bar here. This is a wonderful hammer with a lot of volume, with the biggest volume since the beginning of this correction. And the most importantly, this may look like an outside reversal. So you can see here we've started the day beneath the 50-day moving average, and we went south, and then at the end of the day we managed to end above the 50-day moving average. This was the highlight of yesterday, and this was also reflected in the tech sector, in the Nasdaq. In the Nasdaq, it was pretty much the same move. You could call it a washout, but I'm pretty happy with the unfolding. If this movement holds, then it would make for a nice bounce. I'm happy if we get a movement, or if the next target is 386. I think we should consider it for the time being as it is a technical bounce. The market may turn again after this technical bounce, after we hit the 9-day moving average or the 20-day moving average. The 20-day moving average would be somewhere by 390, and so there are two possibilities. For the first one, that this is only a technical bounce. That's why I said it. We should treat it like a technical bounce, and after we reach the 20-day moving average, that we turn south again for a bigger journey until 356 or 350. The second possibility is that this is just a nice bounce, and that we are going to make a new high, like we did here, a new high, and like we did not here but here. Also, we've gone through the last high, like through the last stop, like butter, and we've managed to set a new record here. So this would be the nice turn of events for us. But for the time being, the first setup would be here. The first target would be here in the area of 390 or 386. Let's just see which one unfolds first. And I think I've mentioned three possibilities. The next possibility is that we've only had a positive day, and next day will be a total denial of the day before. It doesn't matter. For the time being, we are happy with the unfoldings, as I've said, and at least pre-market, it looks like the trend is on our side. Then the IVMs, the Russells are only pulling through. They're moving along with the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. Yesterday we've also reached more or less the last bottom here. We've tested the last bottom, but I think the Russells aren't any market makers at the moment. So I think we must concentrate on the Nasdaq and the S&P 500. Next, I'm going to talk a little about, I'm going to be investing a little time in our discussion section here. I've tried to make a couple of trades yesterday, so you may be wondering where I've jumped in. Actually, I didn't jump in at the beginning. I didn't jump in midday. I only jumped in here. And why? Because until yesterday evening, it was evening for us here. We didn't have any good setup, so I couldn't find any setup here. I couldn't find any real setup here. I couldn't find any real setup here. You may call this a setup. I didn't look at it as a setup, so I waited until the pullback was over, until the 50 moving average was hit. This was not a not a daily moving average, but the 50-minute chart. And as we've hit the 15 minutes 50 moving average, I went short, and I started to trade about here. And I've kept my position. I've kept my position here. Sorry, I think we've got the wrong chart. Yes, this is the right chart. They are pretty much identical because they are moving in the both are moving in the same tact, so it's pretty easy to get a little confused. But my initial position was in the Nasdaq. So as we've hit here the 50-day moving average, 50 moving average, sorry, again, I've jumped on the short side. Then we tested the other moving averages here, and finally the markets turned around again and showed a little momentum. So I've closed this position on plus minus 0. So not a loss, not a win, but I've tried something. And then again, after we've topped the high of the last candle, respectively 377.6 was my market, 6 was my target. Then I went long. I opened a normal position, a normal standard position, thinking or taking consideration when you look at the bigger picture that this just might be the bounce we've been waiting for. And at the same time, I opened then another position in the SPY, also a full position, also in the 50-minute chart. It was, but this one was about here. So this is where I opened the positions. As it is now, I've already made my risk twice or thrice in both of the trades. So this is my risk, and this is where we are now. Perhaps in the SPY not so much, but the Nasdaq was looking a little. Yes, the Nasdaq is looking definitely better. So in the Nasdaq, I have made my position twice or almost thrice. So when the market opens, I'm going to cash in on my first profits. So a third of both trades, and then whatever happens, I'm going to not have any losses here, and that's trading for you. You don't need anything else. And the top it all, the two active positions left in my portfolio. This was both of them were position trades. Had a hell of a day yesterday. You see here IRTC with a mega candle. This was absolutely a monster. You see the volume here. The volume was a monster. The day was a monster. And if we touch the peak of yesterday's candle again, I wasn't paying any attention to it. I will admit to it. If we touch the peak of yesterday's candle, then I can cash in on my first profits. I didn't close the trade until now because my stop is here, and I didn't have any real losses until now, and then I could reproduce this movement in Enva had a similar day, but not that heavy like IRTC. IRTC was absolutely a hammer trade. So 23% or 25% yesterday. So it shows a little more. Actually, it shows 27.5% alone yesterday. So that was something, wasn't it? And Enva is still looking good. Enva showed promise this whole correction, and if it holds on like it did until now, then I am very happy with the trade. I will also be able to take in the first profits. A third of the position will be closed when we reach the last pivot. Okay, that's perhaps enough for our discussion section. I have set up a couple of more titles, but seeing how the day ended, I don't think we have to talk about any of them anymore. So that's why we are going to take a look at our top setups. So we are entering the stage 3 of our video. So the top setups of the week. Actually, the top setups out there. We are beginning with BMY. BMY. So BMY was a title I've showed you yesterday already. BMY had a pretty good day, but I didn't take any of the setups, I will be honest with you. And although this looks like a good breakout, the volume is less than average, and that's why I think we may. There's a big probability that we are going to get a pullback, and even though it looks good, I am not interested in this setup the time being. So then we are going to take a look at MLE, Mueller Industries. This is also the setup I've demonstrated in the setup of the week on the stock-tip.com site. So it still looks pretty promising. It's still probably one of the best setups out there. And if our bounce holds up, if the markets do rally, then I think I'm going to cash in on this setup when it gets activated. FISV still looks pretty good, but yeah, still looks pretty good. We have a lot of upwards potential, but the overall risk to reward ratio isn't that great. So I think we can remove this from the top list. CTXS. This looks great. So this looks great. This setup may have a lot of momentum. This is a bottom fishing candidate. You see here, bottom fishing means that a downward trend is ending, and we may catch then this title in the beginning of an upwards trend, and this is the first move, the first stage of out of our upwards trend. This is the first time in a long time we are above the moving averages, most importantly above the 50 and the 20-day moving average, and also during the correction we've managed to hold our position here. And if you manage to break over 100 with a stop under 92.6, then I think we're going to have a hell of a ride all the way north with the first cash in at 115, and then let's see where the ride takes us. Also a small Titan, also with a bottom fishing strategy. It's not one of my best setups, but setup indeed. All the small titans are known for their profitability, for their huge profitability, and this makes no exception. As you can see, the potential is huge here. We just need a good impulse on our side and a lot of energy in the market. CSX lost a little momentum yesterday, but you may see here the last time we've reached the 50 moving average, we've had a nice bounce again, and this is this is something that we expect. If not, then this also goes away from our list. Micron Technology is holding on. It's holding on. Probably maybe in this stage, if the 20-day moving average holds, then we're going to activate the trade above 98.6 most probably. But I think we may. So better would be if we would consolidate for the remaining of the month underneath 100 and only then break out. Qualcomm also a huge setup, a huge potential here. Perhaps a little better in the weekly chart. Yes, a little better in the weekly chart, but it may be taken any way you wish, in daily or in weekly. I think in the weekly looks a little better, but the daily is also not that bad. So anything above 193.6 goes. But if you are going to go in the direction of our resistance, then perhaps we will need a couple of consolidation days when we reach our resistance before a breakout. Anything else, and we have a huge probability of pullback, a huge pullback, or a failed breakout. Then lower looks very well. So this is one of the setups I'm going to take if our target here is breached. Then I'm surely going to be involved in this setup. But so this is also a small titan, so be advised you may have to cash in early on your profits and avoid a possible sell-off. HCC also looking really healthy, really good. So the activation target is 26.66. What I don't like about this setup is the fact that we are already 3 days, or is this already 3 days in the green. I'm not really happy with this, so I would like one small inside candle here. Better would be two small inside candles and then a breakout. SKT also a huge setup. I'm personally a fan of horizontal setups like this, or like HCC or Lauer here, horizontal setups. These are my favorite setups, but SKT also shows a lot of promise. I don't think I will be taking a breakout in SKT directly. I think I will be waiting for a pullback, and if the pullback comes, then perhaps I will be taking the breakout out of the pullback. And Inva with also a pretty good momentum and has held up pretty good the last few days. This is also one of the best candidates out there. I hope the ones who are going to take it are going to be happy with it. So if it breaks out above 18, then it's a short buy with the next target at about 20.7. 20.7 I think is a good target. So when we are looking at an average move here, this was an average move I think a little smaller than the last, but pretty much the same. Yes, about 20, 20.7, 20.5. That's our goal here. Yeah, so this was today's stock tip daily update. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you liked the video, and more videos coming soon. Don't forget the StockTip internet page, stock-tip.com, is going to go online in about a week or so. So when it does, I'm going to let you know on our social media. Don't forget, like and subscribe, and see you tomorrow. Bye.